So, has anybody else noticed the dramatic increase of videos of white people being racist online, right? Like, I've noticed this over the past year or so, like just more and more videos. It seems like one every week. It started off in America, now it's moved over to Canada, and the media runs with it, and this is just propaganda. I'm not saying these things haven't happened and these are crisis actors, but there is definitely racism that goes on both sides. And there's definitely people of color that are caught on video or camera saying racist or hateful things to white people. But all we ever see is white people being racist to people of color. And we're not allowed to ask what happened before the video because that would be racist. And all this really is to try to demonize white people, to make the image, to give people the image in their mind that there's still lots of racism in America, in Canada, and that you still need the government there to protect you. And, going back to more libertarian type principles, will unleash all of these racists within society just hiding. Like they pretend they're nice, they pretend they're not racist, and they say they voted for Obama or something, but really they're still white supremacist. And this is something I hope that a lot of liberals and probably a lot of male liberals are going to start to learn very soon, is that the left, they hate white people and they hate white men specifically. And all the men that are white that are still in the liberal party, I don't know what the fuck to say about you. You're like a cuck, you're an idiot. Do you really want to be a part of a party that despises you? Like, over time, the left, the rhetoric is going to get worse and worse and worse. Like, they're already getting pretty bold, but in the future they're going to get worse. They're going to say even more things about white men and how horrible and shitty they are. And the media just comes and helps them by promoting stories like this that just promotes division. Like, how is this story helpful? Really, it's just going to point out, there's racism that still exists, or people get mad in parking lots when they're dealing with people. Like, there's countless things that happen every day that you don't necessarily need to highlight. And the fact that they're only highlighting one side as opposed to both sides equally to say, like, hey guys, we need to all be nicer to each other, they're only focusing on white people. So this is clearly a propaganda method, like I said, to convince people that, there's still a big problem with racism in these countries, specifically white racism. And, we need pretty much the government to come in and protect you. So, this is all these pieces are really achieving, and I'm sick of seeing them every fucking day, and this just gives more ammunition and fuel to leftists to spew their fucking hatred of white people, because it's okay to say whatever the fuck you want about white people, but say anything about anybody else, you're pretty much insane. Like Marine Le Pen in France, she's being recommended by the courts in France to go see a psychiatrist because of the stuff she tweeted on her Twitter about ISIS and showing how they killed some people. And that her showing how brutal ISIS is now considered insane. But your crazy ridiculous hatred for white people that a lot of leftists have, no, that's just totally fine. It's understandable, it's justifiable, because white people are the exploiters, and everything they have they stole, they smell like dogs. Say whatever the fuck you want about them, and we have tons of proof. Just look at all the stories the media is showing us every single day of white people being racist and white people calling the cops on black people because they want them killed. But let's not show any other stories like this. Let's not bring any attention to any of the others. So, this is just lying by omission. And that's all I see whenever I see more stories like this pop up of like this Ottawa woman who was fighting over the parking stall with these two white people, right? And it's like, like I said, we don't know what happened before. We don't know what that woman said before the whole altercation started. And, even reading it, it sounded like she was just standing in the parking stall, kind of like yelling at them, and then they kind of drove slowly into her, and then she freaked out because, yeah, she's probably standing waiting there in front of them. So, but obviously we're going to take her side. We're going to, condemn those evil white people. I'm sure Trudeau is going to come out and say something about this soon, but, just be clear. Just remember that the media, they're trying to pull one over you, and that this is just lying by omission. And yeah, this is just to create more distrust within society of the specifically majority group, because the more distrust that minorities have of white people, the more they're going to want the government's assistance. So the more people they bring in, the more they're going to show white people being evil and racist and stuff, because they're gonna be like, oh, you're gonna need our protection from them. They're still the majority, and once they're the minority, things are gonna be great. They're gonna have like no racism everywhere. Nobody's gonna be exploited, and you're all gonna have, you're all gonna be top executives, and everybody's gonna be rich. So it's like these people, they're delusional. They don't understand that destroying white people is going to be bad for everybody. Like, I think some people think it's going to be good, and they're like, oh, our turn is coming up soon and whatnot. But it's like, no, it's going to be horrible, not just for white people, right? I keep hearing this rhetoric like, oh, they were on top and they're just sad and killing themselves right now with the high rate of depression and by white men because they're not on top anymore and stuff. And it's like, no, that's not the reason. They were just being taken advantage of for years. And, people who get constantly shit on just for existing are going to have a lower self-esteem. They're going to think less of themselves. And specifically white men who have been constantly shit on, demonized, with stuff like this as well, that they're trying to propagate that more with type of articles like this. What else are you going to make them think, right? I remember at one point when I was younger, I thought white people, it would be good if we were extinct, because all the media that I was ingesting and just seeing passively, right? It wasn't politically inclined or anything like that, just passively ingesting it. You just think like, wow, white people have done so many horrible things. We have so many horrible things to people. The world will be so much better off. But it's like, no, sorry to say, but it's white people that have made the world as rich and as prosperous as it is today. That's not, I'm not saying that to be racist, to be mean, to demean anybody else. It's just the fucking truth of the matter. Okay, so when we are gone and no more and stuff, the world is going to look like a lot of the places that you left to come to Canada, right? Like Mexico looks like Mexico because it's full of Mexicans. Venezuela looks like Venezuela because it's full of Venezuelans. Like, this isn't hard to understand. China looks like China because it's full of Chinese people. Okay, so, and it takes long for people to change their cultures. Don't assume there's going to adopt the way we do things right away. So, I know I got on a whole different rant now, but I'm just sick and tired of seeing these stories pop up when I know it's just clearly just trying to get people to think a certain way. And this is why the fake news media is the enemy of the people, because they always do this. They're consistently, sending this message out to people, and it's no wonder people think the way they do about white people. It's no wonder there's so much division compared to when there was 5-10 years ago. And like I said, when the demographics, like as they're shifting, this is going to just keep happening more and more. so just be aware of that. But that's all I pretty much had to say. If you like my content, subscribe and have a good day. See ya.